Hi Sheddies, it's me, Eddie Stevens. I'm out of my shed in nature. Look at this. I'm in the bosque, which I often feature on my very boring running rant-to-banter shorts that I sometimes put on YouTube. You know what's interesting? I call it running rant-to-banter, and at one of the videos I changed it to running run-to-bunter because I thought it's running, but of course ran is run in the past tense, so there was no need. And bunter, what does that mean? Probably something gay. I'm looking, sorry about that. I'm looking rather ragged right now, aren't I? I've just been for a run here, and I think I look slightly like a homeless Craig Bellamy if he'd been in a few bum fights and had his nose broken. But this is a reaction video to the England team, the England 15 to or England 23 to face. God, I need a haircut. Let's put this hood up. I can't stand the sight of it. The England 23 to face Fiji. Recently, I released a video about the leaked England 23, which was not the same at all, really. But there were a lot of similarities. I feel like I could have probably guessed as close as that leaked team was. But let's just run through it really quickly. With the front row, it's Ellis Genge, Jamie George, and Dan Cole. Now, I was thinking about this, and it's interesting because Ellis Genge, obviously the most mobile, athletic, powerful of the props. Other option would have been Joe Marler. Joe Marler being a bit more set piece and defense orientated. And I think I said I wanted Joe Marler starting because I like Ellis Genge coming off the bench. But anyway, when I first saw this, I thought it's a statement by Steve Borthwick. He's got Ellis Genge, a better attacking option. So Borthwick's being a bit more exciting with his selection. But then on the other side of the scrum, it's Dan Cole. And you see that and you think, okay, he's not going to try and take Fiji on at their own game, and he's going to focus on the set piece. But they're two contradictory choices. If it had been Marler and Cole propping, we would expect to see a more conservative game plan. If it had been Genge and, I don't know, we're pretty weak at tight head, but maybe Genge and Sinclair or Genge and Stewart, you might have thought, okay, he's going to try and play a faster paced game. As it is, I suppose he's just picked what he thinks is his best front row, and it might be. As I said, I'm a big fan of Genge coming off the bench, but I can see I don't really have any complaints with this front row. Second row, the same. Marrow and Chesham. Who are you going to pick ahead of them unless you want to like really mix things up? Sorry, I'm holding this. Fucking my shoulder's killing me. You could try and really mix things up by moving Laws back to second row, but that was never going to happen. You knew this would be the lock pairing. And in the back row is the biggest news because word on the grapevine, including in the leaked team I saw, had Billy Vunipola starting at 8, which infuriated me. As you know, I was outraged because Billy Vunipola is so far away from being... He's kind of not even really an international standard number 8 now. That's how bad he's been. So to have him starting for England is insane. Having said that, I'm really disappointed that he's not starting because I'm a negative prick. You know what? I was just thinking about this. Years ago, I remember working somewhere and certain people within the organization were really bad at getting their tasks completed, really bad at doing their jobs. And I remember one day in particular getting all fired up because I knew they weren't going to have done something. And so I went to check and I was all fired up, ready to be like, oh, you see, I knew they wouldn't do it. And they had done it. And I was so disappointed because I didn't get to complain. I am a whinging cunt. And I was really looking forward to whinging about Billy Vunipola starting at 8 for England. As it is, he's on the bench and that's still bullshit. But the back row is Courtney Laws at 6, Tom Curry at 7, Ben Earl at 8. Cannot complain about that. With the players we have in this squad, it's arguably our strongest back row. I personally think Courtney Laws has been a little bit off, and Tom Curry hasn't. You know, he's had a lot of injuries, and he had the red card that took him out for a while. I'm a big fan of Lewis Ludlam, and I know it's sacrilege, but I think I would have possibly preferred to have Ludlam ahead of Laws at 6 or ahead of Curry at 7. But no real complaints with this. Now at scrum half, I am a born-again Danny Care fan. I had a revelation when, after I saw him play against Samoa, I realised, oh my God, Danny Care is possibly the greatest England scrum half of all time. Am I talking hyperbolics? Possibly, but I just think that the confidence he brings, he's in his late 30s now, right? And he's still more of a threat from 9 than anyone else, with the exception of maybe Rafi Quirk, although he's too untested. And you know I love my little Harry Randall, but Danny Care, England really have missed a trick by not having him their starting 9 for the past decade. I really think that. Having said that, kind of cool that Borthwick stuck with Alex Mitchell. Alex Mitchell, the form scrum half in the Premiership. And if he can deliver the way he does, or he did last season, and the way we know he can, it's not going to be bad for England. Fly half Owen Farrell, yes, that had to be the case. The centres, it's Manu and Marchant, as was predicted in the leaked team. And there's nothing horrendously wrong with this, but I find it very boring. I'm not excited at all about Manu and Marchant. Not that I need to be excited, I want to win. And if Manu and Marchant are our best defensive combination in the centres, which they may well be, maybe that's a good thing. But personally, I've said it before and I'll say it again, the fact that Ollie Lawrence is not starting for England in the midfield with everything he's done so far is a travesty. I'd much rather have him there. Having said that, he's on the bench, and that is a good option to have coming on at some point. The back three also not very... well, how can you say it's not exciting? Marcus Smith is at fullback, something that I condone. I am happy with this. I give Borthwick my blessings to pick Marcus Smith at 15. I love Freddie Stewart. And this may be a case of horses for courses. I'm not sure why you would necessarily want to have Marcus Smith against Fiji, some of the biggest, freakiest running threats in rugby. Having said that, Marcus Smith is not terrible defensively, and he's not as small as some people think he is. It could backfire, but how can you not get excited about it? I love Smith at fullback. Not having Freddie Stewart in the 23 altogether is a bit odd. Then again, given the choice of having Stewart or Lawrence on the bench, I'd go with Lawrence. And then the two wings, Johnny May and Elliot Daly, you couldn't be more boring, could you? I mean, my God. If you'd have told me a couple of years ago that Johnny May and Elliot Daly would be our starting wingers in a World Cup quarter-final, I'd have ripped your balls off. Not sexually, like aggressively. And said, what are you talking about? And you'd say, well, you just scream. But I suppose it makes sense. They're probably a higher IQ wing pairing than some of the others we could have had. Max Malins, have loved him for a long time. I think he's a genius, but is probably a bit more prone to errors. It's a weird 23 though, isn't it? It's in some ways exactly what you would want. It's like a very good blend of exciting players mixed with experienced players. But for me, the excitement factor is slightly outweighed by the experience/dull factor. I think I would have rather had somebody like... we got Smith at fullback, that's great. I think I'd rather have had... well, there are a few wingers I'd rather have had in this World Cup squad that aren't even there. The midfield pairing isn't quite right for me. I don't think Manu should really be there. But you know what? Very, very prepared and happy to be proven wrong. That's it. I don't know what else I could tell you at this point. Isn't this beautiful? I'm wearing a Nickelodeon hoodie that belongs to my girlfriend. It's too small for me. But it's the season's changing. Okay, and the Premiership season is beginning. That's something I'm going to be talking about a lot. But for now, that's it. Please follow me on Twitter at Eddie Stevens with an extra S at the end. Follow me on Instagram at Eddie Stevens Massive. Follow me on TikTok if you're insane at Eddie Stevens 0. It's mostly weird homoerotic gym videos. And please like and subscribe to this. And I'll see you later. Bye.